Live from the Museum of Broadcast Communications Kraft Telecenter, Chicago's newest news team brings you the latest MBC News.
Good afternoon from the MBC News Center.
Thanks for joining us. These are the top stories at this hour.
Last night, President Clinton and airline executives jointly announced airline safety improvements. Most passenger jets will soon be fitted with fire detectors in the cargo hold beginning next year.
This is further proof of what we can achieve when we work together. This is a critical part of our long-range plan to make Americans more secure and to make sure our skies are safer.
Most of the nation's airliners do not have smoke detectors in their cargo holds, even though the National Transportation Safety Board called for them in 1998. But today, the industry agreed voluntarily to install them. It will cost the airlines about $400 million.
If you're used to standing on a CTA bus, chances are you found a seat this morning. The Chicago Transit Authority says it's payback time for commuters who have hung in there despite decades of cutbacks. Extra buses were added this morning to 10 bus routes to relieve crowding. Now, some bus routes in the city started earlier, and the CTA is working on improving reliability on streets where it's harder to get through heavy traffic. The CTA hopes by restoring service it can rebuild ridership.
City officials are considering a bold plan at South Loop. Developers want to build a high-rise jazz museum in a residential complex called Jazz Place at the corner of Roosevelt and Michigan Avenue. The first 8 floors would house the Jazz Museum, exhibition halls, and 2 theaters. It will also include a recording studio and a supper club featuring live music. 300 residential units will then be built above the Jazz Center. 4 developers are vying for the project, but financing remains a big question.
Mayor Daley is calling blue bag recycling a success in Chicago. 8 million blue bags have been processed and 100,000 tons of recyclable materials have been removed. However, only a quarter of the Chicago population participate in blue bag recycling.
This is not rocket scientist work, I hate to say it. This is recycling, bottles, and, you can look at your school. You have a lot of paper. That's number one. That's very simple. Number 2 is cans. There's a lot of cans, or bottles. That's the idea.
Streets and sanitation trucks pick up the bags and take them to 4 centers where the usable materials are taken out. City officials say that in 5 months of the Blue Bag program, it is beating what they were able to collect through the deposit box program in 5 years.
Coming up next, Tom Skilling has the latest weather report.
Also in return, a mother saves the life of her 4-year-old son, and a great day in sports for Chicago fans.
They come from Los Angeles and London, San Francisco and Santiago, all on American Airlines to do business in Chicago. They arrive hundreds of times a day to build, create, invest. And every day, American is the international symbol for service in and out of Chicago. 95 key business destinations, the most non-stops to Europe. One airline that means business in Chicago, American Airlines.
Let's find out how the weather is right now. It's been terrific.
Here's a look at the weather with our master forecaster, Tom Skilling.
Greetings from the MBC Weather Center. We have some good news. The dry weather is ending here in the area. Weather Flight shows us the area of cloudiness that brought us the rain overnight. Now a second batch is on the way, and we need it. We haven't had much of that recently. The big rains focus in this region southeast of us today, but a lot of wind will accompany the new precipitation. High pressure and low pressure keep the winds blowing strongly. That's the weather for now. Back now to the area's newest and most popular anchor team.
Thank you, Tom. A mother saved her son's life rescuing him from a sinking car in Virginia. 4-year-old Hunter Crockett shifted his mom's station wagon into neutral yesterday. It rolled out of a parking lot, down a hill, and right into a nearby pond.
Didn't stop to take off my shoes or my sweater, nothing. I just took off and I ran down the hill. I reached up out of the water and got him, and he laid right on top of me. He held on to my shoulders.
Kathy Crockett calls the rescue a miracle. She also warns parents never to leave children alone in an automobile.
One of Mike Ditka's favorite players has been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Linebacker Mike Singletary, the Samurai, was an All-American out of Baylor. But a lot of teams passed him up in the draft thinking he was too small and too slow. Singletary's career with the Bears was highlighted by 10 consecutive Pro Bowls and a Super Bowl ring in 1986.
I remember coming to the NFL with a tremendous chip on my shoulder. And I realized that I was very immature. I want to knock out everybody. So I'll show everybody. I'm going to clean up. But thank God that Buddy Ryan took me aside and said, son, you know what? Learn the game.
You know, he's such a big guy, I wouldn't want to stand in his way, huh?
No way.
As usual, the big story was Sammy Sosa. He stepped up to the plate in the 7th inning with the bases loaded, and there was no place to put him. Sammy ropes one down to the left field corner off Joey Hamilton. That's 2 RBIs for him and 150 for the year. The Cubs have a 2-0 lead, but in the 8th inning, with the bases loaded, he took his hero thing one step further.
They're standing in the outfield. The pitch. Swung on, belted, deep toward left. Mr. McGuire hit 63 for Sosa. A grand slam in San Diego.
Just another chapter of his MVP season. Just another incredible performance by a guy having an incredible season, and he's real good.
Most parents would rather see their kids out getting exercise instead of sitting in front of the television. But here's one kid whose outdoor play got a little too ambitious. In Topeka, Kansas, 3-year-old Kevin Blake climbed to the top of a 50-foot pine tree. Of course, climbing up is one thing, but getting down is quite another. Kevin was rescued by the fire department, who got him down with the help of a cherry picker. He got through the ordeal with no injuries, and the little guy made it home just in time for dinner.
That's all the news at this hour. Stay tuned for coverage of all the day's events.
Thanks for watching the MBC News Center, and have a great day.
You know, I would be just willing to see Sammy Sosa just play in a ball game sometime. Wouldn't it be good? A Singletary. That's true. Remember the record he